Little walk around Woodchester mansion. Unfortunately, we can't get tea and coffee because due to staff shortages, the bloody cafe's closed. That's every pub I've drove past today actually says staff needed. I don't think anybody wants to go to work in this country now after COVID. I really don't. They're just country lazy.
I don't know. I feel I was here before. I don't know.
You what, sorry, love?
I still have the feeling
Feeling what?
I was here before.
What you mean?
I do have this feeling, yeah? Do you know that?
What, have you been here before?
Yeah.
What you mean before?
It's
What, in a
like,
past
yeah.
life? But it was never lived in though. It's never been lived in.
I'm
Other
not
than
saying I was
caretaker
living
now.
here.
Maybe it was a French stonemason.
I don't know.
Well, a lot of them are for France, I believe. The stonemasons worked on this building. The
You have a
man
past
does.
life. You don't mean you need to live here. As a past life, you can be
I think this,
here.
the mansion that was here before was called Spring Park. I think it was called.
Look at the... Oh, if it never was lived, nobody here, why they build a house?
Because
Why
they
waste
run out of
all this
money. They run out of money before they finished
Never
it. So
nobody
half
finished
built.
that?
No. It's been secured, like, I mean, I don't think there was a roof on it for years, but they secured it over the years. The first time I come here was probably
Why do you think it never...
17 years ago.
They never finished that?
Because they run out of money.
No, but
Went
now
bust.
there's a lot of millionaires in this country. Eccentric people. They could
It's
buy-
grade one listed building now. You couldn't turn it back into a house, or all they could do was like put the windows into security, obviously, so that it didn't fall into disrepair. It's obviously a special architectural interest.
Do you mean this always will be like that?
Yes, they're not going to. Nobody's ever going to live in this. I wouldn't say that. Well, somebody could live in it. You know,
Yeah, you could. We
it's
have,
a charity that own this. I think now will manage it, and the Parklands
the
National
family
Trust.
donate that.
To all the land around it, the National Trust. Well, no, the family didn't. I think it was just in disrepair for years. I don't know who
This
owned
was
it.
supposed to be the library.
But the
yeah?
charity manage it, and obviously the Woodchester Trust, I think it's called.
The century 80.
Yeah.
Can they build
It's beautiful. It's a very unusual building.
It's like a Gothic.
It is Gothic, yeah, exactly what
Was
it is, yeah.
quite very...
With the Gothic arches and that, and the towers outside. Oh yeah, beautiful.
You're about to go on an unusual journey that remained untouched by the passing of nearly 150 years. This is the story of a unique house, designed not just to be lived in by the prosperous family for whom it was to be built, but in which its new owners would lead godly lives and earn their places in heaven. The spirit and the details of its design were inspired by the great Gothic churches and cathedrals of the Middle Ages, and reproduces their architectural engineering as well as their fine craftsmanship. Let's go down the passage that no one took, through the door that no one opened, into the house that was never finished. Woodchester Mansion in South Gloucestershire is one of the world's most unusual and splendid heritage sites. It's not a ruin, it's It's a moment suspended in time. Inside this great house, an English gentleman of inherited wealth who had converted to the Roman Catholic form of Christianity was going to live out his days on earth. His name was William Lee. His grand staircase was built to lead to and from his private chapel, and was wide enough for the monks with whom he planned to share his house to process up and down. The principal corridor of his house was built to look like the nave of a Greek cathedral, but it was also to be a private house. Let's look and see what one of the grand reception rooms would have looked like. Today, it is a stone shell with rough, unplastered walls and no ceiling, just as its builders left it in 1877. But we can use our imaginations and the drawings the architects left behind to see what Mr. Lee and his builders intended. Every rich Victorian gentleman needed his own private library. William Lee's was to be vaulted like a chapel with an elaborate stone ceiling. Bosses or ceiling centerpieces would have been carved by stonemasons lying on their backs. Let's imagine what the library would have looked like with a fire burning in its hearth and ornate fitted bookcases carved in the Gothic style of the mansion's architecture. Let's look inside one book that has survived from the time of the Lees. The family photograph album. William Lee, his wife Caroline, his son Willie, his daughters. More pictures show us the architects who were involved in building his extraordinary mansion.
Yeah. So, yeah. But you can see the bosses at the. This scaffolding's been up on this side for years.
Actually, they can use this one for.
Oh, they use it for events. This is where they have a ghost hunt. So have a
Maybe for
tea,
vending?
have a tea, coffee in here and that sort of
I
thing.
could happily married here. Can we get married here?
If you want to.
I don't mind. If the ceiling's not perfect, you can extend.
But in which its new owners will lead godly lives and earn their places in heaven. The spirit and the details of its design were inspired by the great Gothic churches and cathedrals of the Middle Ages, and reproduces their architectural engineering as well as their fine craftsmanship.
considering how many cars are on the car park, there's not many people around here, is there? It's very cold in here in the winter though. You come for a ghost hunt and you wrap up warm, I tell you, 'cause it's bloody freezing. Yeah. Beautiful window, isn't it? I mean, it is like, you know, any cathedral really. Gorgeous.
Personally, ambitious from himself.
Yeah. So the bird is nest at the top there, on the right hand side. That's a rook or something like that.
You have the green man there.
Yeah, where?
Living on between the center here. I'm looking for that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There you are. There. There, the green man.
There are two green man.
Where's the other one? Oh, it's there, yeah.
It's there.
It's this side, yeah. They're both facing a different
here,
way, yeah.
another there. Should be two of them.
Yeah. It must have cost a fortune to build. Imagine what this would cost if you built something like this today. How much you think? 100 million or something?
Who would you like to build
You're
something-
talking about,
something like that?
yeah,
in these
hundreds of
days?
millions.
Only maybe some lazy very centric.
Yeah. You probably wouldn't have. No, carry on this way. Come back on yourself. And usually go upstairs and then do the cellar last.